Hi, how are
Hello,
you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. I'm excited for this. So I have a problem that nerves and anxiety keep me awake, but also excitement keep me awake. And it's a problem, but it's also not a problem because I tend to get more stuff done during that time as long as I'm conscious of it, then I'll get up and I'll do something. But if I'm not that conscious, I'm just trying so hard to go back to sleep, ends up being a waste.
Well,
But
that's sweet. I'm happy that, you feel you feel that excited about this conversation. I was looking forward to it too.
yeah. Okay, so I'm YoShaMa and I am doing these videos with hopes of helping other women or other people, period, with living their retirement life now. So I try to choose people that I feel can contribute to that goal. But as a personal goal for me, outside of helping other people, this is kind of like a cool social life for me without having to leave the house, which yeah, I don't like to go very far no more because I have so much space and I didn't realize that I like the isolation as much, but I do. But also, it feels like self-therapy whenever I come out of these. Um, and normally the people that I do it with, they end up having so much fun that they want to do it again. So I'm hoping that that becomes a thing here too. But tell everybody your name and what you do, and then we can go from there.
Cool. I'm Tyler Hurtado. People call me Coach Ty as well. I'm a fitness coach, and I specialize in making fitness fun, approachable, and more playful so you do it more consistently long term. Also, I specialize in corrective exercise, so helping people with joint pain, muscle pain, things like that, and moving well.
Mhm. Um, so the reason I asked you to join me for this video is because you helped me through. I mean, we always have so many tough things in life, but the most recent toughest thing for me was going through the emotions and everything that the war in Israel brought on. And we've had the conversation once. I'd like to state that I've never met this woman in person, and she's had so much impact on my life already, and I believe on other people too who I've shared this with. Um, but you helped me to breathe.
Oh, wow.
Um, I was in the car driving, and you and Latasha Wilson had a live on Instagram. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, and you were talking about just shaking it out. This has been like one of the life-changing things in my life, and it's so simple. You said just shake it out, because sometimes you just need a reset. I'm putting this in my own words, and you can talk more about it, yourself. But I remember sitting in the car and I was driving, and you know how you go through this, like you're in a daze where you're driving and you don't even realize where you're going, or you kind of get to where you're going on autopilot because you know the way, but you're not really there.
Yeah.
Felt like I couldn't breathe, and I'm trying to figure out how to control my emotions and how to just breathe. Now that
Yeah.
sounds real simple, but of course I was breathing. I just felt so tensed up that I felt like I was stopping myself from breathing.
Yeah.
And I was on my way to a locksmith job, and I took like 10 minutes. I got there early, and thankfully the customer wasn't there. And so I was listening to you and Miss Latasha, and you were talking about the shaking it out. And I got out the car and I started shaking it out. And I felt like I had a 30-second reset to just be able to breathe, to just to have that moment to think clear,
Yeah.
without all the emotions and stuff taking over. And then it helped me to do my job. And then I started doing it more often. And then I realized that it didn't just help me with that. It was good for that crisis moment, but it helped me with my finances. It helped me with my
Wow.
business. It helped me talk to other people to reset because I don't think people realize how many things in their lives can cause them to get so stiff and so like stuck. You know, even like having a blockage of some sort in their mental state that they don't realize that that one thing can just free them, get them 30 seconds or more to be able to take a step, to take that next step. So tell us more about it. Tell us like how you even get
Wow.
all of this.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. Like, you never, that just goes to show, I never know who I'm impacting with something that to me feels so simple. And so, like, do
Yeah.
people care about this? Like, but this feels like something to say. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And shaking it out works for me because, wow, there's a lot going on in my brain right now. First, I learned it from theater. I'm a theater person. I graduated with a theater degree. Like, it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my fitness journey, things
Mm,
like that. And so, one thing that we did a lot of is shaking, especially before a scene, before going on stage. Just and literally, like you said, it acts as a reset for your nervous system. So you can, because when you go on stage, just normal, no matter how many times you've been on stage, there's some sense of like tension. And
yeah.
that's just a normal thing. So you literally have to shake it out. And then I learned, acting and theater really helped me just in my own life in general, because I can be a very tense person. Even though I teach about tension release, which is why I teach about tension release, because I grew up as a very tense child. Just growing up as an orphan, maybe even being a Black woman in America, that didn't really hit me till I was an adult, I feel like. But I think it accumulated over time to where my baseline was just tense. I
Yeah.
didn't even know I was tense until I started going to theater school.
Yeah.
And so the shaking really just helped me outside of school, outside of training, outside of professional life, and on stage, to where I would do it before a date. I would do it before a difficult conversation. I would do it, just in the middle of the day if my brain is making me feel some kind of way. And so, like, the fact that, and it's funny because I'm a fitness coach, but like my dream, my passion is to help people with tension. And
Yeah.
so fitness is just like my way in to start talking about it in a way that feels right to me. I don't know. I guess I could just jump in and start talking about it, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It just feels like this is the right path to go. So that's how it started. And that's how I incorporated it in my life too. Like, even last night, I had an argument with my husband, and I just like walked out the room and I just shook it out, and I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
So I have so many thoughts of me. And I want to get as much out as possible. But again, if you like this, then we'll be able to talk about more later. So I realized before having this Zoom that it's been a while since I've been shaking it out myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it clicked that just like anything else, if it doesn't become a normal habit, then you forget that you have those tools, those skills to be able to do the things that you need to do to move on. And so I've been, we all go through our shit. And this morning I was like, wow, how can I sit here and talk about this and I haven't been doing it? You know that like how can you teach about something you don't do yourself? And so this morning I did. I got up and I shook it out. But I I'm at a stage in my life where I'm learning not to regret things, but just to move forward and then to acknowledge the things that I do, which also tap into some of the things that you've been doing. We've talked about this before. So I finally feel like I can feel my body, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that I know exactly what my body needs. And that even though I can follow YouTube videos and do workouts or go to a workout class and everything, if I feel a pain in a certain spot, I know just certain movements, I just move with how I feel. And I've watched some of your videos. There was one where you were dancing that really it struck me because either I don't know that many black people or, like I was living in a narrow, society, which I agree. I did live in a narrow society of black people, so I wasn't exposed to a lot, but I did travel the world. I traveled to a lot of places in the world. But I watched your dancing, and it wasn't what I was used to seeing with black people. However, that is the dancing that I love, that I feel is the most freeing, where you just move however you feel, where, the music moves you and you just feel so free. And when I watched your video and I realized that most of my workouts are the same, where I just move however my body feels. And I feel like it takes a level of confidence as well. A level of confidence and knowing who you are as an individual, a level of confidence and not caring what other people think, what other people that look like you may think. You get what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure if you went to a club right now or you went to a party, you ain't gonna see too many people dancing like you unless you go to a party that's specifically for that type of dancing. And I'm not sure you'll see too many people that look like you there.
It's crazy because you I was actually thinking about this week or last week about my like dance style.
Hmm.
Because I do love to dance. I'm trained in dance, and I don't like to be super technical.
Right.
Like I can be,
Hmm.
but it takes a little extra like brain power for me to do that. To like set myself up for my turn, and my turns were okay, but like the setting myself up for the turn, but your turn's not gonna be okay unless you set yourself up, like that kind of mechanical thinking.
I feel like it defeats the whole purpose of dancing.
I mean, it depends. If you're performing, you do need to be
Yeah,
clean, like
that part makes sense.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like if you're just dancing for fun,
Yeah, if you're just dancing for fun, no. But like I'm trained to perform,
Mm,
right? And so I think because of that, I found ways to. I took a lot of movement classes. Like
yeah,
we had to take dance, and I danced and stuff like that. And then I just got into movement classes. Like I had really cool teachers who just talked about movement in general, and
hmm,
like that I love dance, but I really started to grasp onto that to the point where like I didn't even call myself a dancer. I called myself a movement artist, you
yeah,
know? And so I had one teacher that he would always say, move from your fascia. And it took me so long to understand what he's talking about. And I still kind of like, what? But
yeah,
your fascia is all the connective tissue in your body. So like your bones and your muscles, they're
yeah,
connected by fascia. Like when you eat chicken, that little
yeah.
thin part, that's the fascia.
I'm a vegetarian, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay, okay. It's like I think of it as like spider webs inside of you connecting everything together.
Yeah.
And so so when he's like move from your fascia, I'm like, and so, but that's kind of, it just stuck with me for so long to just move how, like you said, how you feel to move. And I did a dance battle, like a open style house. House is where my heart is. I love house
I
dancing.
love house so much. But
Yeah.
what house? Listen, I don't do any house. I'm from
I
Israel, so Israel house is the bomb. Like it's hard for me to house out here if it ain't a good DJ, like really good.
Really? Okay, I've never heard. I mean, there's so many different types of house too.
Yeah,
So like that's cool. Well, when I think of house, I think of like the original Chicago style house, and there's dance
yeah.
that goes along with that, and I've been studying it for the last 2 years,
Okay.
and that's like a lot where my heart lives. And so I did this dance battle. It's like house plus open style, and I like moved up in the dance battle. And I was so surprised. Yeah, like because there's so many good dancers, right? There's like
Yeah,
60 bomb dancers here who are like trained.
right.
and I'm just like, what? And I think it just came from my mindset of like, I'm just gonna enjoy myself and I'm just gonna move how I want to move. And sometimes there'll be people who dance before me and I like a move and I'll just like kind of riff off of that move and like, and so it was just a good time. And I don't know, that's kind of where my mind went to when you talked about that. And yeah, I think being an African American woman, especially around other African
I'm trying,
Americans.
like, I'll try to be politically correct, but I'm not that type of person. So you could be free. People go either love this or they're not.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of time, I think maybe because it's 2024 now, people are like
More open.
more open and they like want that kind of openness now. And yeah, and you see that we're not a monolith. And also I tend to really get along with other neurodivergent African American women. So
Listen, you said a lot of big words. So,
like like people who
what do
their
you mean,
brains
babe?
don't work
Okay,
like
good.
ADHD, autistic,
Okay,
like the
okay.
people who are just a little wired a little differently
Yeah,
than like the most of the people. And so I tend to really gravitate towards those African American women.
yeah,
So I don't know, because of that, it feels more open. Like they're not going to judge you
yeah.
because we're all like weirdos. So we're not going to be like, oh, you're a weirdo. Like we're all weirdos. So it doesn't
See,
matter.
but I think weirdo is only because you're in a public that is not like you. But when you're in that group, you're not a weirdo, you know?
Exactly. So when I say
So,
weirdo, I do want to add like quotation marks because it's like we're like that. And so I don't know. I just
'cause in
what
my mind, the
happened?
other people are weirdos.
And I did, yeah. And I got to this point where I'm just like, well, theater helped for sure. Like theater definitely helped because you have to not care what people. You have to care what people think, but not care what people think. um, but also just the freeness, the freedom of accepting who you are and knowing that you're enough
Right.
as is. Like we did, like one of my favorite exercises, theater exercises, like warm ups, is to just walk around the space. Like you just walk around the space. And then one of the prompts is, okay, walk around the space so that people see you. And so your instinct might be to be like, oh, oh, or
Yeah.
like change you. But the idea is that you just keep walking the same way,
Oh, I never thought about that.
like you don't have to perform. You don't have to do all this extra stuff to be seen. And
Yeah.
that like just knowing that I'm doing that over and over again just taught me that I am enough as is, and that just goes into my movement and my dance. And I actually am starting a an online membership called the Playful Fit Club. And
Okay.
I'm going to do weekly classes. Like I'm going to gradually, build up the class
Hmm.
register. But right now, I'm going to start with one class. It's my signature class. It's called Spinally Free. And
Hmm.
it's all about, it's kind of a mix of Pilates and just freedom of movement, wiggles,
Okay.
and so I want people to realize the freedom of movement. Like, yes, we're going to be doing some strength stuff at some point, but that's not what this is about. It's about honoring your body, listening to your body, and just moving with it. And that releases tension right there, and releases. And like you said, you were pointing to this area here that releases that kind of like knot or whatever is in there.
Mhm. I was laying down last night and my shoulders, my back feels like I've been working my ass off. And my shoulders and my triceps and everything too, biceps and everything too, right? I ain't been doing no workouts. But because I was feeling so a certain kind of way and I'm moving, I'm like, okay, so I laid on my back and I started just like coming up and just waving my arms around like this, but I would get up, like lift my back up. So in a way it was a workout, but it stretched my whole arm, my shoulder, everything, and it felt so good. I just had to say that because I was like, you would be proud of
It's
me
so much
about
better
it.
than like just stretches that you find and they're like stretch like this, stretch like this,
Right?
like like I'm not knocking those stretches. I don't think they're super helpful, but whatever. But moving like the way you were moving the
Yeah,
other night, that is helpful. And I
yeah,
know it because I've seen it in clients. I've seen
yeah.
it in myself. And right here, you just did your own testimony. And it's only because of the fascia that I talked about earlier. Like you can go like this and like, stretch one little area here, but
But
when
what
you
about
move,
that area that really like that you can't get to?
exactly. And a lot of time the tension is held, like our emotions and stuff are held into that fascia.
Yeah.
Like fascia, the idea of fascia is pretty new. It's not, it's maybe like 15, 20 years old, if that. And so, there's a lot people are still talking about and trying to figure out. But we know that that's where a lot of the tension lies.
Mm.
So what you did is very intuitive.
I'm gonna go back to the dancing part.
Okay.
One, I wonder if I fit into that whole neuro, whatever the words were you used to describe people with
Some people
ADHD,
say neurospicy, neurodivergent.
any of that. I wonder if I like if I had that and I just never got tested. And I'm never gonna get tested because I'm like, that's who I am today, like whether you like it or not. And it worked for me so far. Or is it because I grew up outside of America?
I think it's yes and because I grew up outside of America too.
Where'd you grow up?
Mm. I lived in Hawaii, Japan.
What?
Um, I lived in Detroit. I lived in Seattle. I just lived in different places,
Same.
and I grew up traveling.
Yeah, same. Same.
So I think that may be what it is as well. It's
Yeah.
just like we know that there's different ways to do things, and you always have to kind of, I don't know, be a new person, not a new person, but you always have to kind of reintroduce yourself
Right.
in different places. And
Yeah.
so
And I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
you adapt a lot of things to wherever.
Yeah.
So, funny story. When I was in Oregon, my brother was there too with his kids, and I would text them like, "Oh, let's go do this," and I would always find something new on Facebook Market, right? So I found this dance thing that was happening that was for free. So I told them, I was like, "Oh, y'all, let's go." And it was, I would say it sound like Indian music with a hint of like disco and stuff. You know that kind of music you zone out to? That is,
Hmm.
and it's the exact dance that you're saying where you just move your body, right? And my brother and his wife was like, Shama, what you bring us to? What is this? I was always bringing them to like things that were not familiar to them. But this was the funniest one. It was like, what the hell did you bring us to this time? But it's kind of funny because that's my brother. We grew up in the same house, like I have siblings who are just as open as me, and I have siblings who are not as open as me, and it's just beautiful to see how people can be raised in the same house but end up so differently. And it makes me curious, like, what was different? However, I do know that he married another African, he married an African American woman who was more closed off. I don't say closed off, but
We have
like,
to be perfect a lot of the time.
yeah.
When you grow up in America as an African American woman, especially, like you just have to kind of be you're taught to be perfect. And
So
so that
she grew
doesn't
up in
leave room for
Israel too.
openness. Okay.
In the Israel, in Israel, we grew up in an African American group. We're called the Hebrew Israelites. And there's still a lot of that mentality of you gotta be perfect, you gotta be skinny, you gotta be, look a certain kind of way. And then also the whole don't trust them other people,
Yeah. And it's just
you
such
know?
a crunchy feeling to be in.
And but I think they learn it more and more, which is in my mind is a little bit baffling because my grandmother is a white European Dutch woman. So it's still baffling like how some of us see it a certain kind of way and some of us don't. But that's neither here or there. It was just so funny seeing their reaction. However, my sister-in-law ended up hopping in and she had a good time, and my kids were there. I have two girls and I had the baby, so I was holding the baby, dancing with the baby the whole time. And then my oldest daughter was dancing some, but then she would go in and pick up the instruments and do it. And
Oh, good.
I like to raise my kids I feel like Portland was a great place to raise my kids because one, it allowed them to be who they wanted to be. My daughter would wear like 10 different colors, you know, which if she grew up someplace else, she would have to look exactly what fashion looks like,
Yeah, yeah.
But, and then she would like her froze. And I have some people in my family, like quite a few of them were like, why don't you do our girl's hair, And I'm like, have you ever thought that she thinks she looks beautiful? That she actually
Oh
likes
my gosh,
her
don't get me
hair?
started on the hair. Whew,
And
that's a
so this,
whole.
girl, I'm talking about this today because I watch your videos and I don't know if to say this or not because I don't know. You gonna feel comfortable because you do it every day. But like you always wear shirts with no bras, like not always, but I see, your boobs sit perfectly. Like I bet a lot of women wish they boobs set like that. Your hair, you wear your hair however you feel in that day. And honestly, sometimes I'm a little bit envious. I wish that I could be that free with my bra. Bras suck.
I mean, maybe after I have kids, it might be a different story. I don't know.
No, but even before I had kids, like I didn't mind wearing no bra, but my nipples, I'm like, what if they see my nipples? What if this? What if that? And then, but I watch my sister. My sister does it without a heart, like without a thought in the world. And she's okay. And she looks great. She had two kids, her boobs that she don't care. But it's like, to me, it's just another level of confidence, that adds to that whole free life, the really being free. I don't think people realize how confined they really are, and it's their own doing, you know? Like, do I really have to do my hair? I'm gonna
I
be
mean,
honest,
I
the only
was.
reason I do my hair is because I don't like combing it, and it turns into, a nice little one or two locks. So I have those days too, and they look like, I'm so confident in myself these days that I still believe I look amazing and I will wear that. But I have my times where I'm like, I don't feel like doing my hair every day, or my head scarf comes off at night, so it still turns out bad. And I tried the silky
Yeah.
sheets and that shit ain't working out for me, okay? It's just not working out for me.
No, I hear you. I have this bonnet. It's like a cap.
Yeah,
It, I don't know. I don't have it in here, but it's like a beanie,
yeah,
but it's a bonnet. And
yeah.
so it really helps to stay on. I know what you mean.
But
Um,
you want to know what my problem is with that? Because I know I could buy them.
they're hot.
That too. But honestly, I be thinking when I'm having sex with my husband, that I look like an old grandma with it on. That's
I
what
never
that's
thought
what
about
goes
that.
through
It
my
just comes
head.
off sometimes during the process, though. It just be coming off,
That's
like,
what goes through my head. Like it's funny, even if I have a ponytail or something that we doing it, man, I snatch that ponytail or something. I'm like, be free, husband, be free. But
well, that's nice. That's nice. I don't even think about that. I'm like, you look, you wanted this at night. This is how I look at it. I'm not really a night sex person, to be honest. I understand like that's the norm, especially when you're busy, but like nighttime sex, I'm just like, well, this is what it is.
I be like nighttime, morning time, daytime. I don't give a fuck. Get it in. It be my husband who be putting me on the schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like during the afternoon is my favorite, just random throughout the day. Like, hey, what you doing? At night I just feel like I'm not as like I'll get there, but it's just like I'm rested, which is
I'll
probably
be
a good
honest,
thing
I don't
too.
know how to say no. I don't, because like
It's
I'm gonna enjoy it anytime you do it.
yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. Yeah, yeah.
So
Especially
I
when I ain't
never
gotta do
tell him
nothing.
no. I practiced one time. I said I'm no. Like this one no. How does it feel to be told no? But
I feel bad if I say no too, like unless I'm really
me too.
overstimulated. if I'm really overstimulated, I'm like, I'm really overstimulated right now. Like I don't want to be touched
Yeah.
all over and sweated on. Like I just don't want
I've taught him no twice in my life since I met him. Okay. One time was I was doing, it was when I first started doing locksmith, and I was up from like 7 in the morning to maybe 12, 10 o'clock at night. And my whole body was just like a rag. It was so done. And I remember laying down and he was like, let's do, and I said, you can use my body, but I can't help you. He laughed so loud. He was like, what the fuck? My husband don't curse, but if he would curse, he would say, what the fuck? But that was the one time I was like, you can use my body, but I can't help you. But it was
That's
one.
why I just turn over. I'm just like, just
I couldn't even turn. I
I'm
couldn't
just like,
even
look,
turn.
just do what you gotta do, and
That's
I'll
what
be
I
right
do
here.
today. That's what I do today. But then I couldn't even turn. My body, I swear, was like
No,
a rag. You could do like this, and I couldn't even help you. Like move nothing. But that was one time. Then the other time, just to prove a point, I was like, no, no, no. And I was sad on the inside because I wanted it. But I'm not good at saying no. I don't
no,
even know
I hear
what
you. I'm
the
not
other side.
either.
Oh, the
Unless
bonnet.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I get overstimulated pretty easily. I wanted to talk about before when you said the freedom of people and their being not their fault, but the fact that they can do it, but they choose not to. I don't know if that's always the case because I know I grew up with silk presses, hot combs, relaxers, and this is just an example.
Yeah.
Um, and I never knew that it was an option to wear my hair natural. I never like that idea, like you wash your hair and it's all poofy, and I never thought like I can go outside like this.
Huh.
This was in the early 2000s and 90s, right? So that's I don't think people was doing that. And it's crazy. It's really crazy to think like I didn't even think I had that option. So I think a lot of people might go through that with so many other things
Right.
that they just don't know that they have the option. And like to me, that's not their fault because they don't know that they have the option.
Oh, I'm not saying it's their fault, but I like how you explained that because I grew up where we weren't even allowed to blow dry our hair or straighten our hair or do anything. Like we couldn't have extensions, we couldn't do makeup. It was the whole lifestyle was about being natural and being healthy. But I mean, it came with its own issues, which is that people were sneaking and doing it anyway, which means that they didn't really know what they were doing. So they were also damaging their hair, or the fact that you're sneaking in the first place. You know what I mean? So it brought about a lot of other things because it was so strict. However, I was one of those kids too, sneaking and doing stuff. But now that I have my own kids, you know, so one, I try not to straighten my hair because living in Oregon, okay, there was this one situation when my daughter was really little. She was probably like 3 years old, and she had an afro, and she was at this birthday party, and she was the only black little kid there. I can't even call her black, little caramel little kid there with black people hair, right? And one of the kids was like, "Oh my God, your hair is so crazy." And it wasn't in a bad way. It was a little kid, being a little kid. But it made me realize, like, until my daughter knows and is confident herself, I will not subject her to those things. So I made sure after that, like her hair was always braided, as before she went to any party, before she went anywhere, when she went to school, like her hair was always done. But I wasn't straightening it. She's had her hair straightened like once or twice in her life. And I just in the last like 2 years started letting her wear extensions. She's 9, but I told her like my whole lesson to her was only way you can wear this is if you know and truly believe that your hair is beautiful, meaning that you're asking me for hairstyles that don't always involve, extra hair or straightening or this and that. But I just, if she was gonna be the one little black girl around there, she was gonna be the best looking black girl around there, and not the best looking according to what everybody else believe, but the best looking as far as how she feels beautiful. So that when she goes somewhere, if somebody does have anything to say about her, she could talk shit back because she knows she look good.
Yeah.
If she
Yeah.
don't need
Mhm.
me to come and protect her. Um, but I work really hard on both my girls, and then my second daughter, she's a little more mixed. So she got that curly, curly hair, not, curly afro hair. And I've had a hard, I ain't gonna say I've had a hard time, but it's like a continuous teaching of people that are around me. It started with my husband's family when she was first born, and they were like, oh, she got that, she's white. Oh, she came out white. And I stopped that shit right there. I said, listen here, I got 2 kids. And ain't no way I'm gonna let y'all make my older kid feel like she's any less just because she's a little bit dark or she got an afro. And y'all don't realize how some little things that y'all say can impact that. So y'all gonna have to get rid of all of that talk. Kick rocks. And since
Mhm.
then they haven't. It's been more prevalent, maybe is the word, with my black side of the family,
Yep, I knew
you
you was gonna
know,
say that. That good
where
hair.
yeah, like um one of my not just one of them, a few of them, but one of the people who was around me the most, because I'm not going to say who because I don't want them to feel no certain kind of way. It's just a continuous teaching process, where, she'll come out, oh, she got that good. I said, listen here, you cannot be around my kids with that crap because I don't need my older kid feeling less confident or looking up and they got like jealousy issues between them because of looks, you know? I was
Yeah.
like, hell the fuck no.
Yeah.
And so I found myself having to do that a lot. I've even had like whole conversations about me, in the background where how I treat my youngest so much better because her hair is always done. Okay. Mind you, her
Wow.
hair could be a bird nest,
And
but
they
to
said it was done.
black people, it looked like it's done. Whereas with my older kid, I would spend hours doing her hair, taking it down, washing it, braiding it, doing it all over again, making sure I did this. We had a whole family routine. It was our movie day where we did that. Meanwhile, my youngest is being jealous because she's not getting that same time with me. And she walking out with a bird nest because in my head, I wasn't even knowledgeable about how to take care of her hair. I didn't even know I had to. That's how cocky and stupid I was. Like,
Hold on,
you
let me say hi to my husband. Hi, I'm on a call. Yep.
Yeah, that's how cocky and stupid I was. It took me like a year, over a year, to figure out that I needed to do my daughter's hair, you know? But
Yeah.
yet I was treating her better according to the outside world than my oldest. And I'm like, well, have you ever thought, like, you never even asked me questions, first off,
Oh my gosh,
you know?
yeah,
You
yeah.
never even asked, why is her hair like that, Because one, I would tell you that if her hair is down and in a fro, it's because I'm letting her hair breathe. Because her hair needs a break, her scalp needs a break. Two, because she actually asked for it to be like that, which means that she loves it, which means that I don't need you fucking with her confidence.
Hmm.
You know?
Family members.
Yeah. I was like, and then last thing is that we didn't experience slavery. So we don't have those same issues, that a lot of people from back in the day had.
Hmm.
So we don't see what you guys saw. First off, back in the day, the only reason they were straightening hair is because they had lice. At least
Hmm.
from my understanding, that they you had to use a hot comb to kill the lice. From what my grandfather explained to me. I could be wrong. I'll be mixing stuff up. Maybe we could look it up and verify that later. But my point is like I'm so thankful that I've been teaching my daughter the confidence, and I hope that I've been doing a good job because you don't know until later when they grow up. But like, I've been wondering why is it so much harder with our own people? You
Because of what you said, it's because of slavery. I mean, it's not even slavery too. It's just like the beauty standards that are European. Because when I went to Africa, when I went to Senegal, there were similar problems there. I saw women with
know?
bleached skin. I saw women with wigs and weaves, and like the idea that my hair looked like this was so. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you go outside like
Let
that?"
me
I
do
was like,
your
"Oh,
hair.
I was in the motherland. I thought I could do that. Y'all worse than at home." I
They
was like.
are. I
I
was
was
in
like, I'm not
Ghana
about
too.
to
I
braid.
saw
They
it.
wanted to like put these skinny braids on my scalp. I was like, that looked like it hurt. It's hot
Say you
outside.
gotta sit for so long. I
Yeah,
have
I was like,
no
I'm not about.
time
That's like
sitting.
half my vacation about to be sitting on the floor getting my hair braided. I was like, nah, nah, I'm good. So I just like, 'cause I went there in an afro, and they were like, "Oh, you're American." I was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So I put some like braids in my hair. I just put some singles in my hair real quick. I was like, "All right." um,
They
but
probably would still judge it too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It was so funny. I was like, oh well, this is like it was crazy. I mean, they got over it after like a week, but like I was just like, but I remember my grandfather, he passed away recently at 100, so he's good to go. But
Mm,
he's hilarious. My grandmother was a hairstylist. They're
yeah,
from Louisiana. When I went natural the first time in 2015,
yeah.
he said after a couple years of me being natural, he was like, "So, do you ever want to be married?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You think somebody gonna marry you with your hair like that?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, he was dead serious too. He wasn't even trying to be funny. He was literally like trying to like, "Are you? I want you to be married, and like, I'm worried." And I was like, "Oh my god." So anyway, I'm married.
Right?
High
Say
five.
it. Oh man. But I feel like all of those things though, the more you become comfortable with your hair, with your skin, with your body, with how you move and how you think, the freer you are. And if something works, I always say this, if something works in one aspect of your life, more than likely it works in every other aspect of your life, which means that like you're talking about fitness and how you're helping people to do it more playful, taking more shorter times, or it doesn't feel like an obligation so that they could be more consistent. First off, let me say the longest I have ever worked out in my life has been for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's because of exactly what you said. I started doing 15-minute workouts. And then I found that like I was doing it every day, you know? And so I could say 15 minutes in my head, but then if I feel good, I could put another 15 minutes and another 15 minutes. But if I start off at 40 minutes or 45 minutes, I'm dead before I even start, you know?
Yeah.
But if I have these short goals, these short goals that are fun, that are exciting and makes me want to come to it, then it makes me want to do it. It makes it to where I want to do it all the time. And then when you do something all the time, it feels abnormal not to do it. So the
Exactly.
same thing goes for work. The same thing goes for business. Same thing goes for your kids, your husband. If you have these things that you do with them that are short goals, like for example, when we moved out here, our I was adamant about being on vacation. I was like, I'm not, we work too hard. I need a break. I need a mental break. And my husband was stressing a little bit because he like, our money gonna run out, our money gonna run out. And I was like, So, like, we already got the house, we got the land. We've done the businesses once, we could just do it again. But I need to reset, right? And then once we reset, he's like, but I don't want to start over. I don't want to start over. And then one day, like I listed like maybe 50 boxes of jeans on our eBay site. And the next day they were selling, they started selling, right? And then it started being that like, okay, we would do this many and then just do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little more. And that's what I would tell him from the beginning. I said, we're no longer in a rush. We
Yeah.
just have to be consistent. We know what we're doing because we did it once. We made a lot of mistakes, which means we're not going to make those same mistakes no more. The biggest thing we were missing was the space to do it and the freedom to take our time to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And this is the first time in our lives where we have the freedom to take our time to do it. We don't have to rush. We just have to be consistent. And when you be consistent and you're not rushing, you no longer have that stress, that anxiety of like, oh my God, oh my God. And then you could do it fun. I spend so much time with my husband. I've never seen any husband or wife spend this much time with their husband before they made like 50 or 60 and retire, you know? So
Hmm.
for us to spend this much time together, we had everybody have their ups and downs. But my husband's like really my best friend. We have fun. We laugh all the time, you know? And
Yeah.
it's because we have those little goals that eventually are going to make something huge and beautiful. I mean, we didn't get here overnight, but just like how we were talking about the workouts, you have something that you could do fun. I would go to the playground with my kids and I would be on the monkey bars and stuff with them. That's a work.
Yeah.
I had my little child home, my youngest home for a year before we moved out here. And what I found was that for the first time, it was fun for me. We would walk to the post office to drop off packages people bought. We would walk to the library. When we got to the library and it was story time while all the other parents were sitting around, I was up dancing with my daughter. So it just like it helped with keeping us more like united, more together, more on the same path as well. So there's something to be said about what you have to offer to the world. And I believe that once they recognize that, one, that the fitness part is good for them, just the fitness itself would clear their mind of stress and anxiety and all of that stuff. But then being able to convert that to anything else that they have going on in their lives is life changing, big time.
Yeah. I mean, I use it just for like you said, business, like
Mhm.
content. Content used to be the worst for me. I'd be like,
Girl.
oh, you gotta set up the camera because it's not just recording the content, right?
Mhm.
You gotta figure out what you want to say and what you want to like do, and and Instagram makes it seem like you have to like have it kind of polished and jump cuts and edits, and then you gotta set up the camera. You gotta remember to press record. There's a lot of steps. Just
Girl.
like when you work out, you gotta get dressed, you gotta figure out what you want to do, you gotta have the equipment, you gotta eat, you gotta shower. Like there's a lot of steps for one little thing that you're trying to get done. And what helped me was having a Facebook group and
Hmm.
just going live every Wednesday. Like
Hmm.
just starting there, just
Why
starting
am I
there.
not part of this group?
I don't know. I invited you. I think on
Mhm.
Facebook. I'll send you another invite if I didn't
I
already.
probably did accept, but I got so many Facebook profiles for all the different businesses that I have. So I'm gonna just have to give you all of them so you can send me an invite to all of them. So no matter which one I'm on, I see it. But I haven't been
I'm
seeing
just
it.
gonna send you the link in
That
Instagram. I know
sounds
you
better.
got
That
one
sounds way
Instagram.
less work for both of us.
um, so yeah, and so just going live every Wednesday that helped, and then I'm already in the mood to do more. So I'm like, oh, I have more to say. Let me make some little clips for
Yeah.
short reels, or let me do, what I mean. So
Yeah.
like Wednesday now has become like a content day.
Yeah.
I'm still not great at it, but I'm consistent.
I love your content. You
Thank you.
and on top of that, listen, this is a message to everybody out there, okay? More support is free. I don't know why more people don't do it. And I'm saying this to say, like, you, Miss Ty, Coach Ty, you put stuff up, and I actually like it. So why not make a comment? Why not share? Why not like? It's super easy. Why not talk to somebody about it? And we have a lot of people around us that we could do this for. We can help our own friends, our own family who are actually doing something, not the ones that are not trying to do something. These people are actually doing something. Why not be free moral support for these people? Okay, I'm done with my rant.
No, I mean, I get it, but I also get that people's mindset is just not even there either. You know, a lot of people just scroll. It's like mindless scrolling. They're not there to be like
That's what
present.
I'm here to remind whoever I can.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good reminder because it's true. And and what I'm sharing, I think I could even be more explicit about how I feel about the fitness industry and about how what I'm actually doing. Um, I think the short content thing just puts me in this box that I hate. I'm just like, you want me to say everything in 1 minute? Like, so that's like the hardest part for my brain. I like YouTube. And so switching over to YouTube, like
Mm,
Instagram is cool. And I'm trying to figure out how to like be consistent on Instagram and stories and stuff. But I'm able to be consistent on YouTube because I can post movement videos. I can post longer talking videos, and it's easier for me. It takes me way longer to post a short thing on
yeah,
Instagram than like a 5 minute video on YouTube.
right.
It's crazy. So just finding out what you like and how your body works and how your brain works,
Hmm.
combined with the micro habits that you mentioned before, that's a game changer right there. Because
Right.
then, like you said, you get used to it and you're doing it in a way that fits who you are. So I get to know my clients. I'm not just going to give you some random workout, you
Mm,
know, like, and I'm part of these fitness groups on Facebook. Oh my gosh, they drive me crazy. I be wanting to leave, but I'm like, no, I'm here to help people. Because I'm just like, y'all got the wrong idea about this thing. I had a trainer, had a conversation with another woman trainer too. And she was like, what she say? I posted something. I was like, motivation is better than discipline because for me,
right.
because we're animals at the end of the day. And discipline is a great tool for a lot of things, including fitness when it needs to be. But if your whole movement journey is based on discipline, that sounds horrible, doesn't it? Like,
Sounds so sad.
yeah, right? Like you
It
only
sounds like
move your
somebody
body,
is bound to be disappointed at me.
right? That and the fact that like moving your body is associated with discipline. Discipline is like a rigid thing, like, and movement is not. So it just doesn't make sense to me. And
Yeah,
so
that's going to be our next topic, discipline, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to that.
yeah, I could talk about discipline for a while too, because I think it's important, but like if that's all you're using to move your body consistently, it's not going to be sustainable and you're not going to do it in a way that's healthy for your whole being, your brain, your
That sounds
emotions.
like discipline sounds like living in fear.
Yeah, and like punishment, right? Like
Yeah.
disciplining your child, right?
Yeah. Or a
And
guy that's
so,
gonna strike you down if you don't. Or, like,
you know what I'm saying? And like I think those are necessary for certain things, but not fitness. Like I don't, and yeah, I really don't. And so there's times where I use discipline, when I really don't feel like it, but then I switch it. I'm like, you know what? I don't have to use discipline. I could just do something I want to do.
yeah.
There's always something. And if
Yeah.
I absolutely don't want to do anything, I'm like, I don't even want to sit here and like do this. I don't even want to do that. Then I'm not gonna
Then
do
you
it.
don't.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's not the end of the world. But okay, anyway, what was I saying? Okay, I was talking about discipline versus motivation, and
Consistent
motivation is
and
better. And
consistent.
then this coach was like, why would you tell people that? This is an irresponsible post, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, well, what do you mean? Let me
Yeah.
talk to you. And then she was like, well, exercising is like going to a job you hate. You still got to do it. Like what else do you think people are going to get out of exercise besides not being fat and not being able to, you know, not go upstairs? That's what you exercise for. I'm like, you're the reason why there's
Why
so many
people are
mental,
so sad.
yeah, and there's so many mental health issues in the fitness industry. That exact mindset
In
of,
life, period.
yeah, so you only
How many
exercise so
people
you're
go
not
to their
fat and
jobs
so
and
you can
don't
walk
realize they can
upstairs.
find another one?
You only move your body to walk upstairs and to not be fat. Is that what you're saying? You're saying that's the only benefit of exercise. And you're a coach. So I feel bad for your clients.
Right?
Like, I don't know. And so that mindset, I think, is prevalent in so many people. And it's not everyone's fault. It's just what sells. Well, it is everyone's fault because they're buying it. But
But also they don't know better. A lot of stuff hasn't been taught, and
yeah,
change doesn't happen overnight, just like the whole hair thing. Today, more and more people are more free with just wearing their hair naturally. But it took so
yes,
long to get to that. And I see more and more people are attracted to what you're doing. Like being vegan or being vegetarian is becoming such a huge thing, but it took so long to get here. And people talk about how bad the world is getting, but I see how good the world is getting too.
that's beautiful. That's
Like I
beautiful.
do. Just like, girl, we could talk about so many things with respect to that. Because I'm like, I remember I was doing a Black Lives Matter march. And I looked around and I was like, it was way more white people than black people.
Girl,
That in
that's another
itself,
conversation too.
like, yeah, it is, girl. There's a lot to talk about all of this stuff. But anyway, what I wanted to say though, with consistency and social media and everything, girl, that used to irk my soul because it felt like one, the more I put into it, the more it took me away from real life. And the
Yeah.
more it was taking my energy away from the things that mattered. I didn't have no balance and it stressed me out before I even got to it. It stressed me out while doing it. And then when I posted it, nobody would even look at it.
And
So
then
it
you
was,
can feel that stress, like when you
yeah,
have
and it was
that,
just like my whole body was, oh.
and
But
that comes out in the art that you come with, that
mhm,
you produce, right?
yeah.
So, yeah,
But
totally.
since it started like after the war, like that war did something to me. It took me through some really bad things, but it was like a rebirth almost because I thought I was a positive person before, but it really made me just appreciate everything, like wow, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Wow, I have this amazing husband. Oh my God, I got great children. Fuck this internet and social media thing. And then when I started doing it, I only did it because I wanted to, and I wanted to do it with my kids. Like, so I'm like, this is not, nobody is gonna make me do something I don't want to do no more. Like, you only live once, you know? Not not all these people on social media who never gonna meet me or who will meet me, not my family, not nobody else. If I don't want to do it, if it don't feel right, I'm not doing it. So then when I moved to Texas, I did my first post. I was like, consistency is my bitch this year.
You've been pretty consistent too. I've been seeing your posts.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't do it every day. I don't have no specific day that I do it. I just like I'll record as we doing something and then I'll post it later. Or if I wake up and I'm feeling like I got a message to say, I'll say it. But I was like, I'm not co consistent does not mean I have to do it on the same day every week. It don't mean I have to do it every month. It just means that I got to keep doing it. And if I live for the next 80 years, if I do one a year, that's 80 posts, just if I'm doing a bare minimum and being consistent with that. And so even with these interviews, I've been wanting to do these interviews for so long, but one of the things that was stopping me is one, I wasn't confident enough. Two, because I wasn't confident, I was trying to rely on other people to be like my partners in this, like, oh, let's do a
Oh my
podcast
gosh.
together.
Accountability. I have a, yep, I could talk about that too.
Girl, but then after I did my first one, I got to the second one. Ms. Latasha, that's my girl right there. She called me and she was like, I can't really, I'm gonna need you to take over. This is your thing. And I told her, I said, I was thinking the same thing that I need to do it myself because if I'm waiting around on you, I can't get it done the way I want it to get done. And ever since I took that on, oh my God, these interviews just been coming like left and right, and they're fun and they're exciting. And I feel like, again, like I feel like I learned something new. Like, for example, me thinking people have a choice, and you're like, well, I didn't even know I had a choice, with the hair, like having your hair straight, and you thought that was what it was. So I learned a lot from this, and it opens my eyes, but I think a lot of people are gonna benefit from these, in so many ways. And so I've been very consistent with these, and I have so many people lined up that I'm gonna do this with. It gets me excited every time. But I've been consistent. I have like 8 of them so far, but I just load them onto YouTube and I don't make them public. Not yet, because going back to being stress-free and living in my retirement, I don't want to be obligated to hurry up and make no content. So I decided I'm gonna record these, I'm gonna upload them to YouTube, and then when I'm ready, I'll just like every week or once a month or whatever, I'll just make one public. But by then, I'll have enough videos to where if I don't feel like doing nothing, I don't have to.
Yeah, the best part about YouTube too is it lasts for so long.
Hmm.
So you may not like even if you do something now, if you posted this like right now, 5 years later, it could go viral.
Yeah.
Like, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And then another thing about YouTube that I love is that you can even take like a clip of this, like a 30-second clip that was real juicy, and you can clip it right there in YouTube and like make it into a short and post it as a reel. I
Oh,
learned that a couple weeks ago on my
I'm gonna
phone.
have
I
to
was like,
come to you.
"Oh,
Does it like
okay."
automatically help you with it, or you gotta go and find the spots and stuff?
You do have to know, you do have to like watch it through a little bit, but or you can like know what part. There's transcripts on YouTube, so I like to read it rather than sit there and watch a video. So I can just like scroll through the transcript. I'm like, okay, I remember this part of the conversation. Let me just go to that timestamp, and
Yeah.
then I search. I got like a little 2-minute window, and I can find it, and
You
so it's
know,
a little
I did
easier.
not imagine we were gonna be talking about sex in this video.
Yeah, me too. I was like, okay, I don't want to say too much. I was like, my husband's very private. I don't want.
Hopefully he never see these. No. I hope by the time he see him and have millions of hits, so no matter what I said, he gonna be like, okay, baby, it's okay.
It was worth it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's so private. So yeah.
No,
He
same.
learned
Like
how
when
to
he got
stay
here, I
private.
was like, "Is he here yet?" Because when he got home, I was like, "Okay, he's got home."
But that's what I like about these. One, half the time I don't like to tell people what we're gonna talk about because I don't want them to prep for it. I want it to be very natural because I feel like when you're having a natural conversation, then again, you're being free, you being your authentic self. And so that's what people are gonna get. And that's the most beautiful part about it. And I feel like people are craving that more and more.
Yeah,
You know? Yeah.
yeah. This was fun.
This was.
Thanks for setting it up. We'll definitely do it again because now we got
We
topics.
got a lot to talk about, girl.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is awesome. See, I'm glad. Okay. I'm thankful that you trusted me enough to do this. And that, it worked out the way that I said people normally like they want to do it again. Because ain't nothing like saying something and they be like, oh yeah, that sucked. I don't know why she said that.
It might happen. It might happen to somebody, but I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more that people do want to talk to you again.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been blessed with having insight onto who I'm dealing with more so these days.
Hmm.
And so I feel like I filter people a lot better now. So they're
Hmm.
either for me or they're not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so I've been very grateful for that insight lately.
No, I could tell you're very bubbly, so it's hard to, you want to probably talk to a lot of different people.
Yeah. Yeah, but no. Back in the day, I would have done like so many people, but today I'm like, no, I have a specific goal in mind, and it has to be helpful and it has to be in line with, it has to feel good. That's the main thing.
Mhm.
It has to feel good. If it don't feel good, we're not doing it. And not that the topic has to be like bubbly, because I mean, we hit on some really deep topics, you know, but it has to feel good and it has to feel right. That's
Mhm.
it. That's my
Well, I
goal.
appreciate you for trusting me too and putting me on your roster.
Yay. Okay. Send me if you got a calendar that you go by. It's easier for me to fit into people's calendar versus them trying to, ask me what my availability is like.
So like you want to schedule another one?
Yeah, we don't have to do it right this second. You could text it to me or whatever, but
Yeah, yeah, let's text it because I'm trying to I'm trying to be consistent too. I have another guy that I do this with, but he's like a spine coach. So we talk
mhm,
about the body and the spine and things like that. And
yeah.
so I'm not consistent with him either. I'll just be like, hey, you want to meet on Tuesday? Like,
Oh, amazing. So we'll do very well because that's how I am. So
yeah,
we just gonna
yeah,
text like we
yeah. I
did
don't,
this time. I'll be like, what, you free? You want to do this? Okay, let's do it.
yeah, yeah. Let's do that then. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. You said fitness. What was the name of the business again? The
Oh, so my new membership online is called the Fit Club, the Playful Fit Club. So it's a club, and we're gonna have weekly classes, and we have access to my app. We have office hours. You can drop in and get some personalized coaching when you need it.
Please send me the links. Email me the links to all of those because when I post this, I want to, have
Okay.
links to your stuff. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that the other goal for this is that people that I talk to, I would love them to benefit from this as well, other than just having fun, but I want their businesses to get the attention that they deserve. So,
I appreciate it.
yeah, please send that to me.
I will. I got to finish the page today, actually.
Okay. No rush. It's gonna be a minute before I post these.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. Well, you have an amazing day, and I look forward to us doing this again.
You too. I'll talk to you
Coach
later.
Taya.